would you hang out with Bob Ross on a boat?
You ever heard of Bob Ross?
That's what they asked, and I gave them my vote. Of course I'd hang out with Bob Ross on a boat. Put my Bob Ross chain on, wear my paint splatter coat. I'd interview Ross fans from all different places, with cool, crazy costumes, and painted on faces. But before we set sail, the boss shouted, "Ahoy! There's one other thing that you'll need to spread joy." She tossed me a wig, said, "Put that on your noggin." And I got on the boat, and that boat started rocking. We put on a contest, asked Bob fans to paint.
In the previous clip, which brush did Bob Ross use to create those happy little trees? You cannot answer.
We spread joy and laughter with little restraint.
Kiki, where are you from?
San Antonio, Texas.
And wait, you got some...
I sat on a stool and watched CRI Doug. I talked to folks about why Bob Ross is their drug.
I watched Bob Ross as a kid. I absolutely loved him. He was always so soothing, and I can't paint.
That's not true. Come on, look at that.
I hung with my slug. I watched every sunset. In my mind, Bob was asking me, "Hey, Ron, having fun yet?"
This was Bob here, getting ready to go out on a beautiful boat.
The best part of all, we're at Comic-Con, baby. Bob's the belle of the ball, so come on, let's get crazy.
I want everybody here to dance. I want you to have an amazing time. I want you to watch out for horns and other appendages. Do not mosh with the Kraken.
Because if we're gonna be floating on clouds and on boats, and painting with weirdos with swords and long coats, we need us some Bob Ross, because Bob is the GOAT.
So I grew up, we'd stay home for sick and we'd watch two things, The Price is Right and Bob Ross.
I love Bob Ross. I can remember watching him when I was a kid, just being fascinated with his technique.
So hop aboard, mateys. This podcast's at sea. Some certified painters and little old me. I'll be your guide through this trip on the ocean, a journey of joy and Bob Ross devotion. You can pour out your paints or your suntan lotion. So come on, let's get this happy little episode in motion. Mark and Christine Kennedy are celebrating their 25th wedding anniversary, a milestone occasion that calls for a momentous celebration.
You chose to come to Comic-Con the Cruise.
Yep.
What is that all about?
So I grew up, 4th grade, got my first comic book. I've been reading comic books and doing all the geek and nerd stuff my whole life. And then one day I went to a Comic-Con and I was amazed at how there was more people like me out there, and it was just so much fun. And then when I saw this cruise come across our Instagram ad or whatever, I said, we are definitely doing that. Couldn't wait to do it. I was just so excited.
Yep, it's here at the con where you can raise your freak flag high. A place where proud pop culture geeks, nerds, and weirdos are encouraged to costume up, kick back, and create.
I am having the time of my life. Is this the best way to experience Comic-Con or what?
And whether on land or at sea, who better represents artistry, chill, and creative community than this man?
People look at you like you're a little weird, but painters are expected to be a little different.
You fast forward another 10 or 15 years, and my daughter's going out as him as his Halloween costume. And you go to Seaside Heights Boardwalk, and there's crane games with Bob Ross things, and there's candies at the candy store with Bob Ross. He's just hot again, but I remember when he was just a show we watched on TV, and we loved it. It was just fun to watch.
You can just put all kinds of little dooders in there. Isn't that neat, though? You really can do that. Okay, now, let's have a little fun here for just a second. The tree that's made with a knife. Show you how you can highlight it with a knife.
And the fact that my daughter, who was 14, wanted to be him for Halloween, what more can I say? She's got the wig, wore a pair of my jeans, got his dress shirt from him, and that's it.
I'm here to tell you, it's low maintenance. Yeah. It's it's really, this is really just me with this is my hair, actually.
What do you look like without that wig?
You'll have to watch the podcast to find out.
That's right, I'm not a painter. I'm a podcast host. A nudge. Talk to me about Bob Ross. Tell me about Bob Ross. Hey, do you like Bob Ross? But at Comic-Con the Cruise, I'm not just here for the interviews and the midnight fried chicken. In the spirit of Bob Ross, I'm on board to encourage everyday people to have a little fun.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. My name is Boss Ross. I'm here to see who in this room can paint like Bob Ross. New York where?
East Harlem.
Oh, right on, right on. I'm a Brooklyn guy. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing, hey, Victor? Yeah, you like Batman? Yeah.
It's coming from the right, so put more emphasis
I love the
on
highlights.
the right side of
I
this tree.
can't get enough of the highlights.
There we go.
And I'm handing out bravery tests.
There are no mistakes, as you know. What are there? If not, there are just happy accidents. So don't be scared.
A wise man once said, "The wig plays." And what better place to test out its true powers than at the inaugural nautical Bob Ross Happy Little Painting Challenge?
Oh, we're finished. Oh, give him a round of applause. Wow. Wow, this went much better than I expected. You got the whole outfit on, guy. We're twinsies today.
Because a trip at sea is all about fun and games, friendly competition, and a big part of cruise culture is sharing your passions with other people.
And this is the first annual Comic-Con the Cruise, Volume 1, they're calling it. And I think it's been great. It's been taking like the essence of the Comic-Con experience and translating it and transporting it into this cruise-like setting, which has just been amazing.
Rob Perlman is a Trekkie from New Jersey. He's the author of a dozen Bob Ross books, including my personal favorite, the Bob Ross Cookbook.
Comic-Con is really a celebration of pop culture. And it's hard for me to imagine a lot of other people who are as ingrained in pop culture as Bob Ross is. Over multi-generations, over multi kinds of media, people have their own individual Bob Ross experience. And that initial experience was done through the TV or through the books or through the painting classes. It's this communal, popular way of enjoying media.
Okay, now then. Need a place for the fellow to set in there when he's out fishing in his boat. So we'll cut across a little bit of brown. Let's go up here. And we'll give him a little house here.
After we did the painting demo, after we did the competition, people wanted to take these paintings home, even though there weren't original Bob Rosses. They still found value in that. What are your thoughts on that?
I think people value the experience. I think people value that painting was representative of the form of connection and community that they're finding here. That thing was because of Bob Ross. Everyone gathered in that room because of their love of Bob Ross. Everyone picked up the paints or the knives or whatever, even though if they've never done it before, because they were inspired by Bob Ross, because they were inspired by everyone else in that room, because they were inspired by you to try something new. And I think being able to take that home, to put it on their wall, is a good remembrance of the experience that they've had, but more importantly, the experiences that they can have.
People won't believe that you could paint like that, but you can. You really can.
Bob Ross would be the king of the world on this boat, where you might mingle on the pool deck with the stars of your favorite TV shows and movies, like the Star Trek and the Star Wars.
It's an amazing experience. I always joke with people that if 10-year-old Bobby knew what he was doing right now, his brains would just melt right out of his ears. It's I don't take what I do lightly, and I'm really, really grateful for it. So to be able to tell Star Trek stories or Bob Ross stories authentically and meaningfully, and then get to meet people like you. I mean, we've known each other for years at this point, but this brought us together in real life for the first time. I think that's really, really special.
Josefina, where are you from?
Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Buenos Aires. ¿Hablas español?
Yes.
Oh, mí también. Yo también. Un poquito.
Certified Ross instructor Eddie Cuervo has been painting like Bob for decades, but never while the floor was moving. Talk about painting on a boat. You've painted on a boat. Have you ever painted on a boat?
That's the first time I ever painted on a boat. As a matter of fact, when I was helping when we did the challenge and I was trying to go back and try to paint some of the trees and stuff, the first time I did it, we did a little whoa. And it kind of like, I missed my tree. It's like, oh no.
Eddie's one of the 3 CRIs at our painting challenge that our happy little contestants are paired up with. Your role, along with the other CRIs, was to be a helper, but the caveat was you were not allowed to physically take a brush out of anybody's hands. You could only advise. Now, what's in your certified Ross instructor utility belt?
It was interesting because I wanted to help. I wanted to, here, let me show you. I wanted to like hold their hand and show them how to do it, but I was told you can't touch them. I went, okay, so I won't do that. Just kind of talking through it and letting them know how to load the brush, how to put the brush on the canvas. So it was kind of neat. I mean, we've been doing that for over 15 years, and we kind of, I've always helped. I've always kind of like showed them how to do it. But now just talking to them and talking through it, it was different.
You want to hear them again one more time?
Blue one. Hold on. The word of Eddie has spoken.
You could tell they were really, really nervous and they didn't want to do it. As a matter of fact, we were at the buffet the other night, and one of the girls that came in, that she was called, she just came over and went, I was so scared. There was no way I was going to get through that, but it was so much fun. I got through it and I just had a blast. So it's like Bob has always wanted to do. He just wanted to push people. Hey, give it a shot. Give it a try. See if you like it.
Work in layers. Just keep building and building and building, and you can go back over and over and over till you get it exactly the way that you want it.
It wasn't about how people did necessarily. It was about them having a good time and having fun and enjoying the spirit and the joy that Bob Ross brought to us as people who are in this role now, trying to be ambassadors of that sort of experience.
Exactly. Like I love how we got 9 different people and they all got to experience the joy of painting. But they all they had a little taste of it. So they were a little nervous, of course, but they weren't like too overwhelmed because they didn't have to do the entire painting, but they got a little taste of it, and I love that.
All right, so this is freehand, and talk to me about Jesse's help. How did Jesse do to make you the winner? Do you want to give her some of the credit? No, you don't have to.
Yeah, she directed just like Bob was doing. That he says, do it as a free flow. Don't worry about it, and just go with the curve and go like that. And that was what I was doing.
And as a result, you are the winner. You win a $300 BobRoss.com gift certificate.
As you can see, I'm trying to be like meta about this. I met a lot of people specifically at the cosplay party by the pool last night, who not only dressed up, but like they were into it. They were like, they had backstories for who they were. There was a pirate guy with a dog, and he commanded the dog in Klingon. Yes, so to me, like, that is wild. But is that wild to you? Who were you dressed up like last night?
So I was dressed up as an obscure character. I was dressed up as Pauline from Mario Odyssey, and then my husband was Luigi, so more people recognized him. I'm used to that. But it's like you were talking about, people dress up as obscure characters, but this is the place, like a convention, where you really get to express your fandom. And Bob Ross is a fandom. So, you got Star Trek, Star Wars, Flash Gordon, they're all fandoms, but Bob Ross is a fandom, and that's why it connects with Comic-Con so well.
Sure, the cons are all about connecting with the fans, but hey, we're on a cruise too. The breakfast buffet, a tall glass of iced tea by the hot tub. You gotta make time for some zen and some relaxation. Enter certified Ross instructor Doug Hallgren, tasked with teaching a room full of happy little painters how to make a majestic mountain while we all drift along the water.
You breathe, you get into it, you put the damn tree in. You just do it, and which is what Bob did. He just did it. The man, he was like a freight train. He just started and never looked back.
Isn't that a simple, easy way to make the indication of a lot of little trees? Anybody can do this. There.
Someone came over and said, "Did you do that?" Is that the reaction that you would expect under the circumstances?
No, but I think it's the technique is what really helps it look so fabulous, and the instruction and people helping and giving you guidance. Because if anybody has never worked with oil paints, they are so challenging. They're forgiving in that you can correct them, but also frustrating. If you don't know what you're doing, you can get mud really quick.
And oils are so forgiving. So forgiving. You can make a million mistakes with oils and change them very simply. With other mediums, that's very difficult. And oils, to me, have a luster that no other medium has ever achieved.
What is it about Bob Ross that makes him the perfect shipmate for Comic-Con?
I don't think Bob intended it, but he is a costume character. He wore the same costume, basically. Maybe the color of the shirt changed. The hair, the shirt, the jeans, always the same conversation. He is a character, and I think that's where it fits in. You feel you know him. You feel he's your friend, just like you would with comic characters. You know all about them. You read all about them. And you know Bob just from watching him. So I think unintentionally he became a character. I'm not sure he ever set out to do that, but he is.
So as first just trying to see like what the technique was and to seeing if I can kind of do it. And then like once it was kind of there, I was like, all right, I want to experiment. I want to like kind of just dab little things in here and there and see what happens.
It amazes me. Bob tapped into something really cool there, you know, painting for the masses. And you can do this. Well, you certainly can because we see it every day from people that have never touched a brush or never even thought about painting, but they can apply what we tell them to do and get some success out of it.
There's two of us where we're married, so we'll keep one and we'll probably give one to my mom. So that way she gets a nice personalized souvenir. Since she couldn't be here, she'll get a Bob Ross painting. Yeah.
People like gifts that you make yourself for them. A lot of times better than gifts you go out and spend a lot of money for, because then anybody can go buy something. But to make something with your own hands and your own heart and give it to somebody because you care about them, that's special.
He's iconic. Yeah. I mean, you know, when you look at some of these people who are on the ship and you're like, wow, you know, that was, you know, Amy Jo Johnson, the Pink Power Ranger, who was my hero when I was a kid, you know, and then same thing, you know, Bob Ross, it's like, wow, you know, I love that guy as a kid. He's an icon.
Kelly and Chris Oliveris live in Tampa. They turn out at every single one of our events. And yeah, they dig Doug. They even laugh at my jokes. But it's Bob Ross that keeps them coming around.
Certainly glad you could join us today.
All you do is judge your own work, right? But when I kind of, you know, pick it up like this and look at it, I'm like, man, that looks pretty good. So, yeah, a very cool experience.
Hold it up for the camera one more time to let everybody know. Let the people know. This is how it works, guys. Look what happens.
Well, there's a piece of the person that worked on it in there. You remember that. You're always going to remember you put that piece of that mountain or that particular tree in. Kind of a funny thing, you have a little bit of painting amnesia sometimes. If somebody helps you with a painting, the next day you think you did the entire thing. It's just, I don't know how that works, and I'm guilty of it myself, but it does work that way.
On our first night on the water, Doug gives a painting demo in the Centrum, the main hub of the ship. I was lucky enough to have a front row seat. And I wasn't the only one impressed.
Watching Doug be able to do that on a moving ship in front of a live audience within, I mean, he did it in 25, 30 minutes, was so impressive and so cool to see. So, and just to have that memory and that souvenir would be amazing.
Everybody wanted that painting. I mean, we had 10 people come. What are you going to do with that painting? What are you going to do with that painting? Can we have that painting?
What's going on with that painting? We want that painting.
Yeah. Yep, 100% correct. I was like, what? I was like, what do we got to do? Yeah. I was like, do I need a paddle?
Well, you don't, because you've inspired us to do exactly what you hoped we would do. And not only that, but come on in. There he is, presented to you. Presented to you. Here it is. Here's the Doug Algren Comic-Con The Cruise demo painting. What are you going to do with this one?
Oh my gosh, this is going to go in my bedroom.
You're out.
You're out.
It's just Kelly and the painting.
I'm like speechless right now. And you signed it. Okay, sorry, I'm okay. Yeah.
Oh, man.
This is what Bob wanted. He wanted people to enjoy what he did and possibly paint for themselves and just generally make the world a better place. Happy times, right?
Happy clouds, happy trees. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm like actually shaking. I'm really excited.
That's the boat.
Shut up.
I'm going to step back and let you cry.
Bob Ross taught us that anyone can paint. He invited us to have fun, to use our imaginations. He encouraged us to be weird, a little different. He insisted that there are no mistakes, just happy accidents. He reminded us that everybody needs a friend. And that's exactly what our experience on the first ever Comic-Con The Cruise has been all about. Happy times, indeed.
Set your canvas up and show them how to do it. And when you find something good, spread it around. Show others how to do it. That's where half the fun of painting is sharing it with other people.
The old clock on the boat tells me we've got another finished podcast episode. to thank my guests, Eddie Cuervo, Doug Hallgren, Jesse Mason, and Rob Perlman. Special thanks to JT Waters and the fine folks at Comic-Con The Cruise for their hospitality. And a big thanks to all the happy little painters who talked Bob Ross with us on the boat.
Like, forget about all the popularity right now and he's cool and all that kind of stuff. You actually watch him, he actually teaches you like he's good at what he does, and it was fun to watch.
Philly, yeah, he teaches you.
This happy little episode was produced and mixed by James Shapiro at Jansen Media.
What's up, cuz?
What's up?
How you doing, bro?
Good.
I haven't seen you in so long.
Support your local public television station and say thanks for giving us Bob Ross and the joy of painting. We want to see your paintings. Use hashtag #PaintLikeBobRoss. Bob Ross certified instructors are the only ones that know how to teach you Bob's world-famous painting method. Don't settle for second best. Find the local CRI at bobross.com and then click Take a Class.
Yep, it's a happy little doghouse.
Got your own Bob Ross story to tell? Leave us a message at 866-FANBRUSH or email us at podcast@bobross.com. And you can follow us on Instagram at BobRoss_The Joy of Painting. I'm Ron Scalzo. The Joy of Bob Ross is written and produced by me, Ron Scalzo, in partnership with Bob Ross Inc. Bob Ross name and images are registered trademarks of Bob Ross Inc.